of Trinidad and Tobago. My name is James Amuta, and I'm very excited to be joining you this May for the script-to-screen workshop with James Amuta. Over the past 15-20 years, I've worked as a writer, producer, director in the film and television industry here in Nigeria and Africa, and I've been part of the production team for some of the most universally accepted Nigerian films on streaming platforms like Netflix. I'm a guerrilla filmmaker, so I bleed, live, eat, sleep filmmaking. And I'll be coming to share this passion with you in May. I'll be sharing what it means, how you can ignite this passion to tell very powerful and riveting stories. And it's not just going to be talk. We're actually going to be doing something hands-on, something very practical. Looking forward to meeting very creative minds in Trinidad and Tobago. Let's sit down, have a chat, and see how together we can make some very visually arresting projects together. Script to Screen workshop with James Amuta. See you in May.
Script to Screen. FilmTT is hosting its third Script to Screen program with Nigerian producer, filmmaker, and screenwriter James Amuta, who we saw a while ago just talking about his version of filmmaking. And of course, one of the main programs, or one of the main events or objectives of this particular program is a proof of concept short film that would showcase TNT as a potential co-production project. And so joining me this morning to talk more about it is the General Manager of FilmTT and Film Commissioner, Mrs. Leslie Ann Wills-Caton. Good morning, Leslie Ann.
Good morning.
Nice to have you in studio finally. We always see you on Zoom, so it's nice to get that energy in studio.
Correct. It's so nice to be here.
Now, I know that the end product is that sort of project, that script-to-screen project. But before we get to there, tell us exactly why you wanted to bring in Mr. Amuta and why this is the third installment of the project.
Perfect. So what we would have done, well, FilmTT, and of course, as the Film Commission, we promote Trinidad and Tobago as a film-friendly destination. So last year in August, we did a mission to Nigeria with Lanyard Consulting, with C15 and TTT, and Diane went with us on the mission. And the intention was to build a relationship. Of course, as you know, film is a relationship space. And so being able to go into Nigeria, meet with the filmmakers and the producers, understand how Nollywood operates. And we felt it was, I mean, as you know, they do 2,000 films a year. It's an audience of over 200 million persons. And so it was fitting that we were able to bring James over to Trinidad to build that relationship so that we can, in two things, get our filmmakers to really understand the value of how Nigerians actually are making content successfully, being on Netflix, on Amazon Prime. I mean, they're doing numbers online on the streaming platforms. And so he was willing enough to come to Trinidad and Tobago to really work with our filmmakers.
Interesting. Now, in terms of the workshop, it is the third installment. What sort of, let's say, product you're hoping that the participants are able to produce after this?
Right. So with the proof of concept, of course, we promote co-productions. So what we're planning to do is all the filmmakers, we really want to get them to work together. A lot of times as filmmakers, they individually create content. Yes. And the best form of content is when we can all actually say, let's work together as a team. We're not competing to be able to showcase Trinidad and Tobago. And so the output is a short film proof of concept that we will all be proud of to be able to take to Nigeria and build on that film industry and that film space.
Yeah. So we're taking it back to Nigeria. Is it that we're also looking at maybe distribution as well to different parts of the globe?
Yeah, so the beauty of collaborating with James in particular is he has direct access to Netflix. And in fact, during the workshop, he has been telling us all the tips and tricks on how to get on the Netflix streaming platform and how to actually be a part of the major film festivals too, like Cannes and Tribeca, South by Southwest. So he has been very hands-on, very open in sharing the information, and that has been quite valuable. And in fact, even the homework they had yesterday, they had to create a 1-minute short film, and they have to do another short film. So even in real time, we have them creating content. And so it's really building capacity in real time, and it has been going really well.
Yeah, and I think one of those participants is joining us now in the form of Jerome Precilla. Rome, good morning. Are you there with us?
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning. I almost thought you wasn't going to be joining us. You're all right? Can you hear me?
No.
Yes, you can hear me?
You guys
good.
Loud and clear.
Now, Leslie gave us a taste. I heard that you had homework, that you had to do a 1-minute film. Tell us what are some of the other things you're learning in the workshop. He's laughing.
For me, it is an amazing experience because he's going through all of the details in terms of how to make this film, and is a practical approach too. So, in terms of giving the homework and all of the participants in the class, it's not like you're going to a class and somebody is just telling you, well, you need to do this or you need to do that. It's hands-on. So it is. We are actually making films as we go along, and what jumped out to me in terms of the storytelling aspect of it is that he was saying that you always start your story with a bang. You always try to capture your audience within the first minute. And he was so correct. And it's something that we don't think about in terms of creating films these days, is that with the advent of these streaming platforms, be it Netflix or Hulu or all of these platforms that a lot of us watch movies on now, by the time you start a movie and within the first couple of seconds, if you're not already captivated by it, you're going to switch to another movie. So it's about creating that story in the earlies. Some of the other things is that it brings out in us a bit more structure when we are planning our movies and in our script writing as well. So he has us going through all of the different drills into how to create a good script and how to tell a good story. So he focuses a lot on the story and the content versus the technical side of things, in terms of somebody thinking, well, boy, I need to have this amazing camera, or I need to have all of this equipment. And he would tell you, start with what you have and tell an amazing story. He even showed us that some films were created using phones, using your camera phone. He said movies were created using an iPhone 5 or an iPhone 4. And these are things that we always consider, boy, I don't have this fancy camera, so I can't do it. So I like this. I love the experience. I'm learning a lot because I'm heading into creating a television series myself. So I decided to join this program to get that experience in terms of the guerrilla way that he does filmmaking. And I want to make sure that we could bring that knowledge across into Trinidad and Tobago.
Now, Rome, quickly, I mean, give us a taste now about what is your project, that 1 minute homework assignment that you had to do. Give us a taste of it.
So mine was coming up with an idea for a feature film. So mine is a bit broad. So mine is actually on the Trinidad, the whole craze of the Trinidad genre of music in terms of the local dancehall. And the concept I had was that, which is kind of a true story, where we have a young boy and he grew up seeing his brother being murdered, and he stood over his brother's body and he was in shock. He didn't know what to do. And he saw his mother crying, and he decided he is not going to go down the same route. And he's going to get out of the ghetto, and he's going to use music as his way of getting out of the ghetto. But every time he tries to get out, these rival gangs coming at him. Every time he goes to perform, there's a shootout, that sort of thing. He can't get his visa, he can't travel because he's branded and he has a stigma of his community. So what he does now is use his music and channel his anger away from that into his music, and then he blows up really, really big. He gets to travel the world, and it ends up with a great story at the end, where we could kind of have a peace treaty where all of these Trinidad artists and all of these gangs sign something to say they're going to cease fire and to kind of quell the crime in Trinidad and Tobago for the greater good of the music flourishing. And it's something that we see
every day. And quickly tell us what's the name of the project as well. I'm very interested. What's the name of the project? Do you have a name for it as yet?
Trinidad Forever.
Trinidad Forever. Trinidad Forever. So I'm hoping that we can look out for that soon. Rome, let me thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you so much for logging in. It was really good to hear your perspective and, you know, where you're thinking and that sort of thing. So thank you so much for joining us, and all the best with the rest of the assignments and the workshop on a whole. Have a good one.
Thank you.
I mean, we just got some insider information, Leslie, in terms of what they're learning.
Correct.
I love that he mentioned that sort of guerrilla filmmaking in terms of, you know, going out of the box and that sort of thing. But I wanted to know how we can use or how we can marry the two. For example, what we're learning from the Nigerian filmmaker, what we have here, to ensure that we have a great product to present on an international scale.
No, well, what I love about the Nigerians is that they work with what they have. And a lot of times in Trinidad and Tobago, we wait for the funding up front, which is good still. But what we've learned from them is just start. start and make the film. And a lot of times as filmmakers, you get the funding, and speaking personally, once the sponsors and the investors, and I don't really like to say sponsors, but investors, once the investors see your body of work and see the potential and see your perspective, then it's much easier to get buy-in as opposed to not having any content at all. So the takeaway is pick up your phone and start telling shorts online. Use social media. TikTok is amazing space to create content. So once as filmmakers start telling your stories as little, as small as you can, you build your audience, you build the engagement, you build the investment.
Yeah. Now, this is the third one, Leslie, and so it is actually ongoing now, so registration has closed for this particular one.
Correct, yes.
Can you inform us when we can see, is it going to be a fourth installment, first of all, and when is registration going to open up for new filmmakers who may want to enter the industry?
Right, well, with FilmTT, our script to screens are different styles. So the second cohort would have been the mixed-up TV series. Right. And then the first one would have been, we did short films. We had 3 short films, and 121 individuals worked on that. With mixed-up, we had over 12 companies and at least about 50 persons with the 65 episodic TV series. So our third installment is that bridging the relationship with Nollywood. So the fourth one, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag as yet, but you will absolutely love it. And of course, it's really just building capacity whilst creating output. Because as you know, with filmmakers, yes, we can do workshop and training, but the value is being able to have that IMDb credit, being able to see yourself on TV, and of course, as a filmmaker, saying you have experience working in that on that particular project. So that's how we're doing that script to screen capacity.
And anybody who wants more info on the script to screen, on the mixed up, any social media handles, website, you can guide us.
Yes, so it's at Discover FilmTT on all social media, and it's www.filmtt.co.tt.
Thank you so much. And that was the General Manager of FilmTT and, of course, Film Commissioner, Mrs. Leslie Ann Wills-Caton, just sharing about the third installment about the Script to Screen program. And remember, they have the Nigerian producer, filmmaker, and screenwriter, Ms. James Amuta, who is actually teaching those lucky participants right now. Leslie Ann, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and all the best with all the projects in the future.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, the Now Morning Show, we're going to take a break and be right back. Stay with us.